you familiar with the location of Route 2?
Yes, sir.
Drive Park?
Yes, sir.
Have you been there?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that the location is in an area where the operation of Route 2 would cause any traffic problems?
No, sir.
Have you ever noticed any traffic
No.
problems in that area? Have you ever noticed any problem with availability of parking at the location?
There's a lot of parking. There's a lot of parking.
Do you believe, in your opinion, as a citizen of Jonesboro, that the granting of the application for the cannabis and to the nonprofit, and considering its nonprofit purposes, would be both to accomplish the hospitality purpose of the city of Jonesboro as well as being the public convenience and interest of the city and the county? I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
All righty, Reverend Jacobs.
I only have one. You indicated that there are no traffic problems in that area at the present time. Do you think if you add the possibility of alcohol service, that might in any way, shape, or form affect the traffic situation?
No, sir.
You don't think there'd be more cars coming and going, or even more traffic?
No, sir. I mean, they might have a few more cars, but where it's located, it would be easily accommodated.
Okay, so you don't think then that the addition of alcohol in a dry county is going to increase the traffic flow to that restaurant all that much?
You do not believe that, Mr. Chairman, you do not believe that the granting of this application will cause a traffic problem? I am,
All righty, thank you very much for your testimony. Do you have any other witnesses you wish to?
no, Mr. Chairman, I do not.
Okay, are y'all finished at this
Yes, Mr.
point?
Chairman, we are.
Okay, then we're going to reverse fields here, as I said, and turn it over to the opposition.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to call Bob Hester at this time.
Like over disclaimer, late last night, up early this morning, hadn't eaten yet, I'm tired.
Sounds like the rest of us, Bob. Go ahead and identify yourself for the record, please.
I'm Bob Hester. I'm Bob Hester.
I don't think he needs any more inspection than that, does he?
None than that.
All right, Bob, you have a number of exhibits there. Would you tell us what you have, and we'll share them?
Yes, I have a letter from an individual, and then a letter from an individual, and a letter from a pastor, and another letter from a pastor. One pastor is the same letter from, he's here, so Pastor Don Montana. And
Bob,
These items
would
that are-
would you wave your hand so they'll know who that is?
Bob, are these already in the record?
this letter here from the pastor, I did see in.
I think I saw that heading
Yeah,
in the
this one
record.
right here, the living word.
Okay.
And, okay, yeah, okay, so y'all don't need that then, I guess, do you?
It's in the record, right? We don't
All right.
need to introduce it again.
And so, do you need this one?
Not if they're in the record. If they are introduced into the
I
record, we
believe
don't
that
need to
is-
duplicate
This right
it.
here is not.
Okay,
Pass it down, or?
thank you.
Let me off that disclaimers, and I will be brief. But
All righty, go ahead.
Like the rest of us, and, but I do want to get in whatever. Yep, okay, I've got 1,764 petitions here,
How many, Bob?
1,764.
Okay.
We'll go to Mr. Lucan, I guess. Y'all want to pass it
Yeah,
down?
yeah, start them over here and we'll end up with Mr. Lugan if you don't have copies of them.
Now, I've got to ask, you got 1,764, and our file says there's 427, is this an addition?
No, but that, I'm glad you brought that up. That's including those, that's total. Right.
Okay, so this is a total
This is the total, yes.
Okay.
Um, I think, it looked like their petition numbers were, they were pretty good shape. You didn't see that many
Well, I
of
saw a few that were outside the Jonesboro area, outside of Frederick County.
That's the case, and I will, this board right here, sort of move point down, I'll pass that one on. I have, letters from 5 JPs here in Craighead County, and one say, I don't have his letter. I didn't see it in the file either. He indicated that he did send one, and one should be here, so I don't know what happened, but anyway, that would be 6 if it was there, but that much work. And, what you want me to do with these?
You want those introduced?
If you're gonna want them introduced, we'll just start them down there with Pat, and then we'll send them this way. Okay?
We're gonna make your letters just one big
Okay,
packet, okay?
One big one, is it? Okay?
Was
Okay.
these signatures collected in the church or what was it?
Probably it was, I always said before, probably primarily, I mean, that's, high and wide down the street, when you can do it the easy way.
Sure.
That would make sense, but, some of them, like, somebody will take one and take it to somewhere and get, over to the church.
So that's kids and everything?
No.
Just grown up?
I would say, I'm not gonna say there's not, I wouldn't say my life, that there's not a child in that somewhere, but probably.
Bob, are these the ones, are
It's
these,
my understanding you don't have to be a voting age. to sign
Right.
this.
No, but to me, it makes a
it
difference.
goes to the heart of the essence. Bob, were these in the churches out in the county as well as in the city?
Yes, of course, the vast majority of them are within the city,
Okay.
but there were a few came from outside. I don't know how many, but came from outside.
Well, then, we're from Craig
Yeah,
County,
yeah,
city.
that's right. Then, I have, a letter.
Yes.
I have a letter from every mayor of every small town in Craighead County. That's 9 mayors, small towns, and that's of course in the file already should be a county judge, sheriff, and prosecuting attorney. Those are elected officials. These are all elected officials, and those 5 justices.
Kind of looks like city and county can get on the same sheet.
Well, we're working on it.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. Get it that way, we believe. So that leaves us, since the one was not down here in the file that I'm aware of, that leaves us 17 elected officials. And
How
then
many mayors did you say?
9,
Nine.
all the towns in Craighead County. And then Mayor Foreman of Jonesboro, because he's, basically said, well, it won't make any difference anyway. That's his excuse. That he uses, and one JP expressed the same idea, and it won't make any difference, so. Anyway.
How many justice pieces?
There are, I think there are 12, but. Oh, 13. 13. Okay, I wasn't sure about that. Okay. We'll get past this out real quick, and these, it's not gonna take you long. These are just sort of a visual for you. It's a map showing traffic count in general vicinity of this application. And those figures there came from right here that I got in case you doubt, truth from us, or whatever. I do have the thing that where I got those from. And what that is, could I have one of those back right quick? Enough. About that. This is the traffic count in the general vicinity of Ruby Tuesdays. If you'll note there on that map, Ruby Tuesdays, you cannot exit Ruby Tuesday without going to Stadium Boulevard, or Caraway, or Highland. 3 of the most heavy traffic areas in the city. And the extension on up further out, maybe the one that's higher than that out by the college, Johnson, that Caraway Johnson, somewhere like that, or Stadium Johnson. But these, so there's you'll notice the top one up there, Nether Navy, 17,000, and left 24,938. So you can read those for yourself. I won't get into those. But these are from this report that I had printed out from the city. These are pretty much the heaviest traffic areas. And of course, all this is, some of these people come from 2 blocks down on Main Street, 100 and 200 block or something of Main Street, and try to make everybody believe that that's, everything's going to move back to downtown, which is, it's silly, but this is downtown, like I say, this is where everything is, and I'll just give you a quick, if I can find it here. I guess I'll just be able to, but basically, well, what it is, it's a list of, no, that, all the businesses, major businesses in this area, and I won't mention, try to mention them all, but I will mention that Walmart, Kmart, two office supplies, all the major large businesses are in this area. Then you have the airport, not too awfully far from there, it's not right near. And you got an island out here goes to the industrial drive where so many factories and things are. And stadium in this highland, if you look at that, see that zigzag going out, that goes to east side. That goes to the east side of the county. That's the corridor for the east side of the county, that Highland Drive is. Stadium is a corridor between Paragoon and places south, like Memphis, Little Rock. You can come down there, that comes right through there. That's why that's so busy. And of course, Caraway on, let's see, and also the Harrisburg. Then Caraway, it comes from the college, and goes between there and the interstate there. So that's the reasons, and all those businesses, why those are so high, such high traffic areas. And let's see, that traffic count, no, that's actually okay. In section 121, it says factors in your regulation book, it says factors which may be considered in determining public convenience and advantage. The number of existing alcoholic beverage permits in the proposed area and whether such area is adequately served by existing outlets. Okay, I got marked there the 501 Club and the, it used to be Club Red, but now it's Electric Cowboy, 2/10 of a mile from Ruby Tuesday, and then the Mallard Club that was not mentioned is 4/10 down the road. And so those are all right there at close, and so, Mallard Club is a restaurant. My understanding that's a restaurant, and 501 is a restaurant. And they tell me that we said a while ago that that's a high dollar place. Meals are very high. Those are restaurants in there. So I don't see how anybody can say that this area is not adequately served according to the regulations book. And I have called, and Old Charlie's is just across, it's almost throw a baseball real hard. You go at the Old Charlie's across the interstate there. You have to kind of go around. And I called these Mallard Club and the 501 and I don't know, not some time back, and none of them have waiting lines, even on special occasions. So there is no need that we can see anywhere that anybody can come up with a good argument for there being a need for another restaurant there to sell alcohol. I don't think the argument can be made. And then also that was part one of that section 1.1. And number 3 is suitability of location of proposed outlet, including such factors as possible traffic hazards and traffic congestion. And that's what I was showing you there, the heavy traffic in that area. I mean, it's just obvious. I know you don't have anything to compare those two, but those are the highest numbers off of this thing that I got from the city. Also have an accident count from 2005. Okay, here's the thing I was looking for right here. Turtle Creek Mall, Indian Mall, the Strip Mall, Kmart, Lowe's, Office Max, another one fixing to be in, and maybe open by then, I don't know. Walmart, Sam's Club, and we can just go on and on. All the main banks, 6 major banks are located. Their main banks are in that area now, which moved from downtown years ago, back in the 60s. They moved out to this part of town. So this, if you've been to Jonesboro, you know what I'm telling you is fact. That's where everything is. And of course, I mentioned about the Stadium Boulevard being the corridor between Highway 1 South, Poinsett County, and Harrisburg, and that type of thing. So, in the industrial park, and we have many factories with multiple shift changes, the workers out there. Sorry about that, that's what I was looking for a while ago.
Bob, all you're saying leads me to believe that there's a need for a restaurant, but all that industry and business.
How can you make that argument when there's no waiting line in those other places?
People's gotta go somewhere to eat.
There's no waiting line in any of those places, either one of those two places I mentioned.
We're
I
not
don't know
opening,
about that.
There-
Mr. Oates, we're not
there
talking
is-
about opening a new restaurant here, this is already in operation.
Some people may
Yeah.
want to drink.
Mr. Langley, if there is, they lied to me.
Well, I don't know. I'm
Maybe
just
they
curious
had,
where
maybe
you
they had too
coming
much to
from.
drink that day, but
I'm
that's
just
what
curious,
they told me.
though, I live here in Little Rock and I see what's happening here.
Well, I do too. I don't know if it's still true or not, but back in '88, DUIs was the #1 crime. If you discounted petty theft, DUIs was the #1 crime. So we don't want that in Jonesboro. Y'all can have it all you want to down here.
I understand where you come from now. I
Yeah,
don't-
right. Yeah, I'm just trying to make a point that that's busy, and that's in your regulation talks about that.
Well, I think, on everybody's part, these, without hard statistics, these are subjective arguments. I haven't been up there and stood there and watched people in line. Maybe there are, but it's, you're offering this subjective
Right,
type thing,
right.
and so is the other side. So.
But all I know is I called them, and that's what they said. And
That's where we are.
that may-
Okay, let's move on to
Okay.
this one.
Got the, so that's, the original that. And, that. Okay. Another little map for you here, it's the same area, but this has got, kind of the accidents in the area.
Are any of these alcohol related, Bob?
I don't know, I would assume they would be.
Why would you assume that?
Well, that's subjective as well.
I know what alcohol does to people.
Well, I've asked this question before. I wonder how many's related to talking on telephone.
Well, we don't
Hey,
know. We don't know.
It bothers me too, but hey, let's don't add, one thing on top of another.
That's just,
Okay,
You're
what?
probably right, on a lot of them.
What we're looking at here, it says 38 locations in Jonesboro
Right.
that had over 20.
And this is over a 2-year period, don't miss
Okay,
this, over a 2-year
okay,
period.
38, 24 were located in close proximity.
Yeah.
Eight areas for highest rate of accidents. Okay.
I don't know if I made that real clear or not,
But,
yeah, and you can look at it.
and there's
there.
nothing here to deal with whether these were alcohol, whether these are serious,
But if they just bump
fender
into-
benders or what?
Well,
Is that-
Mr. Chairman, I think the
Yes.
point probably is that most of them may not be alcohol related at this point because there's not a proliferation of private clubs. But if we've got that many accidents without a proliferation of private clubs, what are you going to add to that exponentially if you add that alcohol?
That's good. Good.
Exactly, appreciate that. That's
Okay.
exactly what I was trying to say, or wanted to say. But anyway, if you'll notice here where Ruby Tuesday is located, and then the numbers there, and like I say, there was, and this thing has 3 sheets, and the reason I did that, the 2 of them that were high were down on Southwest Drive, and 49 there, and then, I think 6 along on the, sort of on the western side of town, but the vast majority of them were right here. Like I said, 24 of them were here, and those are the highest, were very close, like there on the corners of Caraway and Highland. In other words, when you leave the Ruby Tuesdays, you cannot get out on the street. You cannot go very far, almost nowhere at all, without getting on the street that's not heavy traffic. Including if you go back on the John Martin Expressway and back there. Any way you cut it, any way you go, you're going into heavy traffic, and that's the whole thing, and that's what that regulation, I think, talks about, traffic congestion. And I think you talk about anybody in Jonesboro, I hear it all the time, complaining about the traffic. I know it's nothing like Little Rock or anything like that, but I complain about it myself. I don't like to go to certain parts in this part of town, because it's so heavy. But, anyway, are there any questions about this? Have I made everything?
Well,
clear?
it looks like if you count, and I'm sitting here looking at this map, if you count between 60, the number between 63, and count all the way down to, what is in essence, 49, these two that are on the back page of 49, that looks to me like 18 of those between 63 and counting all the way down, I guess, to 49. You got about half of the 38 that, and I don't know, this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks like about a 10 or 12, could be that, I guess within a mile and a half of the place. It looks like about half of them occurred, if I'm reading this right.
Yeah, what was that again? I couldn't catch.
Well, I'm just looking at the maps, and I look at the first page, which is number 63, which is Highway 63.
Right.
And if you count everything down that page from 63 to the other page over here, which I'm assuming is, well, that's...
No, see, this would have been better, but I thought my map program wasn't working, and I won't get into that.
Is that the area where all the malls are?
Yes,
Yeah.
right, that's what, yes, the mall, absolutely.
63
Turtle Creek Mall,
is
Indian
another
Mall, Walmart.
Well, as I read this, about half of these 38 occurred, in my opinion, of what is a close proximity. It looks to me like about half of these 38 you identified, whatever they are, whether they're bad accidents, fender benders, or whatever. About half of them occurred down in this area.
You're right, depending on what you call
Yeah.
proximity, judgment call,
Okay.
that, yes, or whatever.
What else we got in there?
I believe that's about it, but my point there was traffic congestion. There's no point about being traffic congestion. To deny that is to deny that Jonesboro even exists.
Okay, Bob, what else have you got to
I
put on the
believe-
table here?
And by the way, those came from this right here, printed out with all those.
Mr. Chairman, I gotta ask one question.
Just go ahead.
We don't see any, I haven't seen anything from any local officials in Jonesboro.
We'll address that, I think, shortly.
Any other board member questions?
Ms. Esther, your major objection is based on the fact that you believe that Jonesboro is adequately served and that the heavy traffic does not serve public convenience and advantage.
Absolutely, without question, that's exactly it.
Counselor, do you have questions?
I
for
just
Mr.
have a
Hessel?
couple. In the questions posed by the opposition to my client, there were statements made that indicated that there's a great likelihood that the people that will be frequenting the location of Ruby Tuesday will significantly go down if the application is granted. Do you agree with that?
Well, I guess it depends on what the definition of is, but, you know, how much? Nobody, I mean,
But
it
you
could
think-
be pure conjecture. All I know is I will not be going back again, and I know another guy said that was his favorite place to eat. He wouldn't be going back again, and you know, I know there are people who not.
So you generally agree with the statement without going into details about how much the reduction might be?
I guess I'd probably have to do that.
Okay, well, if that's the case, if there's going to be a reduction in the number of people that will be participating, how does that increase traffic?
Well, I don't believe Ruby Tuesdays generates all the traffic down that way by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I mean,
But you can't have it both ways.
you can't have-
What, what do you mean, can have if Ruby Tuesdays leave, does that mean all this traffic is here gonna leave?
No, but if half the people quit going there, as Reverend Jacobson had said, 50 plus 1, if they lose 50% of their business, to me, that's spelling out, we're gonna lose about 50% of the cars that frequent Ruby Tuesdays, so the number would go down.
Well, okay.
But the ones who are driving out will have alcohol under their belts.
Could be,
Right,
could be.
exactly.
They could have a drink under the belt. That
And
is
and
correct.
those may be going, they go to another place in close proximity. If they don't go there, they go to some other.
Well-
Matter of fact, right across the 63, there's Colton's, and there's El Chico's, and there are other places close proximity because you
Well, we
go
weren't
out-
talking, yeah, but Bob, we weren't talking about people drinking. At that
You were
point in
talking
time,
about
we were
people-
talking about the cars either increasing or decreasing.
Yes, and because they decrease in one place does not mean they can't increase in another place, does it?
Well, you
Mr.
think maybe
Hammond,
these people might go somewhere else to drink? Is that what you're saying?
Or eat.
Or eat.
I don't mean they're just gonna vanish and never be on the street again.
Well, then they're there now.
Pardon?
They're there
They're
now.
there.
Yeah, without alcohol, they're there.
No, they're there at the other places with whatever the
Not
other
all those
places
places
are
serving
serving.
alcohol.
No.
That's the point. There are a lot of restaurants in that area that do not serve alcohol, and people who decide they don't want to patronize a private club
They can
will
go wherever they
somewhere
wanna
else.
go.
Exactly.
That, do y'all agree with that, or is it because Ruby Tuesdays is not there, is that gonna cut traffic in half out on those other streets? Is that all the people who don't go there?
No, that wasn't that wasn't the
Well, there was a
the
lot.
point
it was
was
like
that
the
there would be
conclusion.
half as many people at Ruby Tuesdays, not anywhere else.
No, he was talking about traffic. Yeah, he was talking about somewhere else. He wasn't just talking about Ruby Tuesdays, he was talking about somewhere else.
Okay, I'm getting totally confused now. Go ahead.
I have no
Mr.
further
Hester.
questions other than to indicate that the opposition was indicating that they thought that the traffic count, because of granting an application, would go up.
Yes,
All
that's
the
what I
while-
heard.
All the
That's
while
right.
saying that they thought the people that would frequent the Ruby Tuesdays would decrease, and you can't have it both ways.
I think the point that we made was that we don't know how it's going to actually affect their business, other than to say that half the people in Jonesboro and Craighead County will say, I'm not going there regardless. And the other half will say, we are going there, and we don't know in what numbers.
Okay,
I
well.
have no further questions.
All right, that's fine. Before we, after Reverend Jacobson and his witnesses complete their testimony, I've got a couple more questions of your witness before we close up shop here. All right, what's next, Reverend Jacobson?
Another couple things here.
Okay.
And I will hurry along, like I said, I want to get out here. so you
Mr.
go.
Esther, nobody is hurrying you at all.
I'm hurrying myself.
Take your
I
time.
want to get it over with. But anyway, I'll try to, I may ramble here a little bit, but pardon me, I'm a pretty good rambler anyway. The handout that you just received there, is, we constantly hear, and maybe they're not making it, I don't know, that alcohol is good for economic growth. And I can still challenge anybody to show me some proof of that. I find no evidence that's true, as said here, and don't believe any such evidence exists, and it's never been presented to the school. I do believe, however, there's plenty of evidence that this is not true, and I'm going to give you some real quick. Granted, they can put money into Ruby Tuesday or another restaurant for certain individuals that can enhance their, increase their money.
Hang on, Bob.
And anyway, so I've got some things here, why companies, and some of you have seen this information before, but I'll go through it real quick. Why do companies choose certain locations in the Arkansas Democratic Gazette on December 14, 1999, on the Citizens Outback case that we're all familiar with, case for liquor license, Porter Bruce Atger, who developed a few Outback restaurants in Arkansas and Louisiana that say he was enticed. Now, I'm not talking about, just clarify, I'm not talking about some other, I'm making a point here, so please bear with me. He was enticed by Jonesboro's ethics and prosperity and saw the town as a lucrative place to set up a restaurant. I had heard Jonesboro was a booming town, said Andrew. I visited the town and liked what I saw. And then in the Democrat Gazette story of July 2406, telling about Outback Steakhouse coming to Jonesboro without alcohol, I believe that was. Said that without alcohol, without an alcohol permit, we see Jonesboro as a viable market for Outback. We've opted to build based on the strength of the market. We see this as a pilot for Outback. Now, granted, they did come back later on and did. They said they wouldn't come, they would come about it, but they did get later on. But that's what he said right there. I didn't make that up. The article continues to say that after commission hearing at this point, Atger said Outback would no longer consider Jonesboro. They don't want us, we'll move on elsewhere, he said that day. And then they come back, let's see. We've seen, he says, we've seen other restaurants come in and do well in Jonesboro. The story goes on to say other chain restaurants that normally serve alcohol are faring well in Jonesboro. Store managers say we've broken records for sales for food, said Ryan Dennis, manager of Ruby Tuesday, which opened in Jonesboro on June 13th. We've crushed other stores. There's big business here. People like to eat in Jonesboro. Charlie's opened, this was written some time back, in Jonesboro with similar results. The article continued, manager Bill Dishlecker, whatever, said the lack of alcohol hasn't hurt the restaurant. Professor of economics at ASU admitted, and right down here, y'all heard him, that alcohol is not what determines whether a company moves to a location or not. While testifying in favor of granting a permit to the Jonesboro Outback at the board hearing on February 15, 2006, Gary Latinich, or I don't know if that's the way you say his name or not, but Professor of Economics, Department of Economics, ASU, testified that there's no real evidence that firms follow amenities. That's, we've heard this argument that, you know, restaurants, get these permits and that's gonna induce people to come in and there's no truth, but nothing, in that regards that proves that. You're gonna hear me, this is what he said, you're not gonna hear me say, grant a lot of licenses, have a lot of restaurants, the firms are gonna come here because of the restaurant. That's not gonna happen, the firms follow labor forces, okay? That's Dr. Gary Latanya said right here in this, in an
Well,
ABC.
Bob, it really does appear, and I go along with Reverend Jacobs, you've got a very divided community up there. I mean, it's major divided in terms of who supports alcohol and who doesn't. And you can argue whether you want to get out in the county or the city or whatever. But you've got basically a big divided community. You've got restaurants up there that are utilizing the law that's in place to make business decisions. Some of them come down and say we want alcohol. Some of them say they don't. I don't know whether there's, you know, I don't know how many restaurants are in Jonesboro. If you split it down the middle and gave half of them an alcohol permit, and the other half, you probably have 100. There's probably 200 restaurants in the county and around. You probably have 100 up there. It does not appear, and that's certainly not what this board wants to do. We have to consider these. Oh, no, you know, I'm kind of using the argument.
Sometimes we doubt.
Well, so, you know, it's hard. The board has to look at the fact that the laws on the books that permit people to come in and make these business decisions to ask for a permit. That's our job, and you've heard me
And
say
then
that.
do you not have reasons to turn them down?
We have and you've seen some turned down and some granted.
We believe we got plenty of reason today for this to be turned down.
Well,
We appreciate you doing that.
Keep going.
Okay,
Keep
I'll
going.
hurry on. I'll
We can
understand.
move on.
Okay. In an article in Jonesboro Sun on 12/14/06, Rich Mover, Vice President of Worldwide Operations for Alberto Carver, explained why they chose Jonesboro for the location to construct and operate a manufacturing plant. Jonesboro location in northeast Arkansas was a prime reason the city was selected as a manufacturing site. Company officials looked at 200 facilities and sites in 21 state region with fit suitability in mind. They narrowed the list down to 10 locations. Mover said some of the factors that swayed Jonesboro favor. I'm going to. There are the things that swayed them right there. In addition, Mover decided a community that embraces the manufacturing sector as advantage to the northeast Arkansas. Okay, my words here. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see a thing out there about the alcohol, the availability of alcohol being an issue and be a reason for anybody coming to Jonesboro or any other place. I've never seen it, and I don't think it's there. And there are cases where people have refused to come to place or moved out of the place because of alcohol. This following article here on the second page. JJ, I wish you'd follow along because I think you need to know this stuff. The following article was taken from Jonesboro Chamber of Commerce website. It further validates that the availability of alcohol is not noted in reasons companies come to Jonesboro or anywhere else for that matter. And there's good evidence that Jonesboro is booming without additional alcohol. I'm just I've got a couple of highlight places. I think that's all I'm going to say on this. Jonesboro MSA was recently recognized as the 7th largest in the nation for manufacturing. It says up there, the Jonesboro region is proven leader in a number of categories attractive to business, including geography, favorable climate, viable economy, advantageous tax structure, affordable housing, low crime rate, and we all know that the lower the alcohol rate, the lower the crime. We know that. Again, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see a thing about the availability of alcohol being a reason to come to town. It's not there. I challenge anybody still to produce it. No one, absolutely no one has ever testified before the ABC board with any factual information that a company has moved into a particular location because there was availability and abundance of alcohol. Although a few have tried to make the board think that. When they are pinned down, they had to admit they did not know of anyone who had refused to bring a business in Jonesboro or Fredgate County because there was not enough alcohol. Nobody has ever told y'all that. I've been there enough to know it. And there's this section, I'm going to skip it. There are about 5 situations right there where records have been broken by restaurants in Jonesboro that don't sell alcohol. And so I will skip that and go on. And just real quick, this is from, I don't have a copy of this, I'll just mention this is top 10 counties and bank deposits. This is from 1970 to 2003. Craig Head is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 6 in that list. And same thing in 2006. This is the latest print out of God. That's the pattern holds the same right there.
Jonesboro's growing like weed.
Jonesboro does not need more alcohol for any reason. Alrighty, is Ruby Tuesday a nonprofit restaurant? Section 517 on page 102 in the 206 reg book says, no private club shall operate for any purpose or objective other than the nonprofit purpose or objective described in said club's permit application.
Well, once again, you disagree with the legislature and the law they made. They have determined that these things are nonprofits and can be looked at. The Secretary of State does that, Bob, not this board.
I won't
I'm
argue that.
sorry.
I knew you were gonna say that, so we're not arguing, we're not gonna argue that, okay?
All right, well, I'm just trying to let you know what we have to deal with.
I know, but I'm fixing to make a point here. We're
Okay.
gonna drop that up. I'm not here to argue that. That's not my reason. I knew you
Okay.
would.
You knew I was gonna repeat what the law is.
Would you like a book, Ron? Section 528, page 104 of the 2006 reg book says, any net revenues as defined by these regulations of the club shall be used for payment of bona fide expenses of the club. I'm not arguing that again. Okay. Ruby Tuesday is traded on the New York Stock Exchange. And the stock market is not for nonprofit entities. Now, I know you thought.
There is a nonprofit within these that the legislature has deemed can be created. I'm sorry, that's what they say, and that's what this administrative board, who doesn't make the law, has to deal with. I mean, I can't be any more frank than that. Go ahead, Bob.
So we lost it again, but anyway. Okay, I'll just, I'll say what, right here. First of all, Ruby Tuesday is losing money. Could you pass?
News.
Well, not losing money, maybe I should say that, they dropped on the stock market.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, this private club is not owned by the Ruby Tuesday that is.
And I would
listed on
agree
the
with
stock
the
exchange.
price of Ruby Tuesday stock doesn't have anything to do with this nonprofit club.
This is a nonprofit.
That's what we're trying to deal with.
Okay,
It
okay.
uses the name of Ruby Tuesday, but it is not owned by the publicly traded company.
This is not part of the public.
It is not part of the public traded
Well,
company.
I
No
can
part
see-
of, she is not employed by the publicly traded company. The revenues generated by this are not revenues of the public traded company, they're revenues of the nonprofit corporation.
Mr. Chairman, I'll call for the question.
I can
No, we're
say
not
that.
ready. We're not ready yet.
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna
We're not.
tolerate that.
You're not.
They presented
Reverend
their case.
Jacobson, I make the decisions
I
here. Do you
understand.
understand that? And let me make these decisions. Do you mind?
No, I have no problem with that. I just-
Well, then don't. Then don't make comments about the board. I'll handle these things, okay? Is that all right with you? Thank you. Okay, let's
Just-
go on.
I'll concede, okay, not too much, but I did want to, one other thing. I talked to Mr. Bruton personally, and I asked him if he would consider pulling this application for liquor license for his restaurant in Jonesboro, and he said, I have a certain amount of employees, and he was including all, he owns 21 restaurants. The number he gave me, including all those. And he said, I have to think of, he said, I have so many employees I have to think about, or, of course, that effect. In other words, he didn't say anything about making money, more money to give to charity or anything like that. He said, his employees, he asked me about, maybe I don't think that again. Take for what it's worth. And I do believe that's all, and I thank you for listening to me.
No
I
further
appreciate it.
questions, Mr. Chairman.
How about the letters, Bobby?
Thank you. Reverend Jacobs, what else have we got?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm going to present some materials to you. We have talked over the course of 3 years in dealing with this about why we feel Jonesboro and Craighead County is adequately served and does not need any more private clubs. That's an issue that I want to address. Now, some of what you're going to see, I think you may already be aware of, but I just think it's important to put it on the table. These are a series of articles from the Jonesboro Sun dealing with some of the private club issues that we've had to deal with in Craighead County. First is the Eagles, which certainly that precedes the passage of Act 1813. But you may be aware that the Eagles was shut down, and not only was it shut down by Jonesboro city officials and the police department, but the Eagles, their overall board came in and
they were quoted as saying, "This is conduct that is unbecoming and is being a disgrace to this organization." And so the Eagles Club was shut down by their people because they were totally out of hand. Second one that we've had problems with, and I know you folks are familiar with them, is Julio's. I'm well acquainted with that because that was the first occasion that I had to come before this board. Julio Diaz, as you well know, of course, has.
Have they changed hands?
I don't. I know they've changed names. I can't tell you.
I think they've changed.
They
Yeah.
changed hands, and Mr. Diaz no longer involved.
Reason for bringing that to you is because Mr. Diaz sat here, I believe, in that chair, and promised you that he was going to be a good neighbor, and that he would not do anything to cause you to have problems with him.
Well, and he didn't do it, and the system got him.
Yeah,
The
that's it.
system that's in place got him.
Okay.
Simply because he didn't follow the rules and regulations. And I'm
Exactly.
proud the system works. It's
Okay.
as you.
Well, now the system has another issue that it's got to deal with. But again, the reason I'm giving you this is just so you can see the cumulative effect of what's been going on in Craighead County. This is an article from the Jonesboro Sun dealing with one of our more recent clubs, the Brick House, which we have begun to refer to as Outhouse. And you can take that any way you like. We had two professors from Arkansas State who resigned amid allegations of rape. Apparently what happened in that club, they slipped a female student a date rape drug.
The
Took her home.
professors did that?
It was right there. Two Arkansas State University professors have resigned amid allegations of rape by a female student, the Sun has learned. Now, you might say, well, that could
Well, I
happen.
hope they put him in jail.
The article doesn't say, but you might say, well, that could have happened in any number of places. But as you see all of this accumulate, you're going to discover that it seems to be happening with amazing regularity in the Brick House. This is another article dealing with the Brick House. They were cited by Jonesboro Police for serving an underage patron.
Mr. Jacobson, are you aware that that's come before this
I-
group and that this office took an affirmative step, didn't wait, that this office took an
And
affirmative step in that?
I'm not debating that, sir.
But are you aware of that?
I'm well aware of that. Now,
Okay. Is
I
that-
also understand that Chief Yates told us that they turned themselves in because they would rather deal with whatever punishment the board would hand out than what he was
Well,
prepared
that's
to do.
because I called Chief Yates and told him that they're better off to be handled through us than through them.
Exactly, and believe me,
So-
I'm well aware of that. Now, here's a letter, and I'm going to quote this.
Well, and I think what you heard Director Langley talking about is we've got this system in place that allows these people to come in here and ask for
And I
clubs. We grant them or don't grant them. Then they get into the system of being policed by not only the local police, but by our enforcement
And I-
people
and
who work our
I understand
bottoms
that
off
completely.
to make the system work.
Let me read this to you, because again, we're dealing with one club.
Which is not this club.
No, not this club, no. This is not a club yet.
Not the vicinity of this club.
It's not
it's
any,
not,
or
no.
the potential.
But the point has been made when these permits were requested for downtown, that we wanted it localized in the downtown area, we wanted to create an economic development area for downtown. I'm a local businessman that is concerned about the situation that now exists in downtown Jonesboro. I do most of my work at night and usually come home in the early morning hours. On more than one occasion while traveling down Main Street, I've had to stop my work van to keep from running over a pedestrian. One time, the person was walking down the center line like no one else existed. People come out of Brick House, not all, but some need help in order to get to where they're going. Another time, as I traveled downtown, two people were standing in the street listening to one person leaning over a car, talking to someone inside. As I got closer to them, I thought they might move out of the way. Well, they didn't, so I stopped my van 20 feet from them and sat there till they moved. I feel these people are at risk and just want people to travel cautiously when they're in that area at night. Now, having dealt with that, an article was printed in the Jonesboro Sun back in February dealing with this wet-dry issue. And I know the chairman has stated from time to time that it seems like the tide is turning in Jonesboro and Craighead County because you don't see as many people here to protest these things.
No buses.
But this is a wet-dry survey that was taken in early 2007 which indicates that the dry side is not going away. In fact, it is in fact growing. Those strongly opposed to a wet city have increased, while the number of those strongly supporting alcohol sales declined compared to quality of life surveys conducted in 2005, 2006. And Chief Yates went before the city council to ask for an ordinance that would increase his options in dealing with some of the problems that he was having, particularly with the Brick House and some of these other private clubs. Council passed that measure, but I want to call your attention to page 2 of this current article that I'm passing down your way. These hearings were held at the Huntington Building where the city council meets. Huntington Building is a former church, has a seating capacity of 400 people. The place was packed the night we dealt with this ordinance. I spoke in favor of giving the chief this additional enforcement capability. When requested by Jacobson, if you'll note on the bottom paragraph down on the lower right-hand side, when requested by Jacobson, approximately 80% of the people seated in the almost full Huntington Building stood in support of the ordinance. My point has been, I made it last time we were here, and I want to reaffirm it. If you folks really want to see the sentiments of Craighead County residents, it wouldn't be a bad idea, instead of us coming here for a hearing, it wouldn't be a bad idea if you guys came down to Jonesboro and held one of your hearings in the Huntington Building and saw the response of Jonesboro.
No, that's not allowed by statute.
Well, I understand, but the point I'm making is, the reason you don't see a lot of Jonesboro people here, folks, is not because they're less opposed to the alcohol sales. It's because, number one, it requires pretty much a whole day, and a lot of people cannot get away from their jobs. And secondly, as Rex Holt brought out when he was here, a lot of people just have come to the conclusion that if we had 5,000 people in the parking lot building a gallows with 5 nooses for members of this board, that they would still see these permits approved. And so their attitude is, why take the time off from work and travel to Little Rock to go before the board only to lose anyway? But what I brought this to show you is, number one, try as you guys may try, and I'm not questioning how hard you're trying to enforce these rules. You do not have adequate personnel to enforce the deal with the clubs that you have now. You don't have enough. The statute provides for more enforcement people than you currently have. So what's happening is, this is falling on our police department. You know, it's an unfunded mandate, if you want to put it that way. And we do not need more clubs. 28% of the permits that have been granted by this board since Act 1813 went into effect, 28% have had problems. Now, you say, well, the system is working, but meanwhile, it is totally destroying the quality of life and the ambiance that people have. The reason people in Craighead County voted the county dry initially was because of the type of stuff that's happening at the Brick House. They've had people throwing bottles and cans off the balcony. It is turning out to be a honky-tonk, and that's what we do not want.
Reverend Jackson, we're going to have to get back to dealing with this particular permit, okay? And I've allowed a whole lot of leeway here on this, okay? And we've talked a whole lot about the Brick House. Obviously, your city feels strong enough that they did this. In fact, I read about it when they did it, and I think that's outstanding if a city wants to do that and wants to come up with stuff. But we've got to deal with this permit.
Well, my only point, Ron,
and I'm sure you can tell I'm getting kind of frustrated with dealing with lots of other things besides this particular permit.
But our only point is that this board needs to place a moratorium on permits until we can have adequate enforcement.
We have no authority to do that.
You can choose not to grant it. That's our point.
We have no legal authority not to consider what's brought before us, Reverend Jacobson. Okay, what else? Do you have any other things you want to introduce?
Mr. Chairman, I want to ask a question of Reverend Jacobson. Reverend Jacobson, let me just be clear about your reasons for objecting.
Sure.
You objected on the grounds, one, and I think your last line of argument was that the licenses that we have granted thus far have put let me say it, not public nuisance maybe, but a public strain on the system in.
Some of them have certainly been a public nuisance, but yes, it has put a strain.
Public strain, okay. And you'd also suggest that the public, that the general public, the standards of the general public, the majority of people, the elected officials as well as the people there, as evidenced by the survey, would oppose alcohol sales in your city?
I feel confident that the vote will take it today, we will still be voters' right.
And you also feel that the city is currently adequately served with the licenses that have already been granted in the community.
Considering that we don't have waiting lines to get in, I'd say absolutely.
Okay.
Isn't there a way that you can get it put on your ballot to not have any liquor in the city?
Well, we've already voted the county dry, and the legislature, in their infinite wisdom, gave us Act 1813, which is allowing it to sneak in the
But
back
can't
door.
the city go against that individually?
I'm not a lawyer or a legislator, and I don't know if the city can overrule the state legislature.
Don't think they can. No.
Okay, with that, what else do you have to, offer?
Yes.
In all this that you said, why didn't we receive a letter from the chief of police or the mayor?
Well, I can tell you that I've spoken with the chief of police. The chief said he would rather the county be either wet or dry. He doesn't like the current situation, but he's going to stay out of the politics of the thing. He doesn't want to get involved in politics. As far as the mayor is concerned, he's already spoken. We've had him tell us he was going to come, that he was going to write a letter, and then I think because of political considerations, he's chosen to stay out.
Well, he did what, he was obviously instrumental in passing this thing that passed up there to help.
Well, the chief submitted it, and the council voted.
And that may be, and it's, maybe a wonderful thing, may help. Okay, with that, do you have any questions of Reverend Jacobs?
I do not.
Thank you.
One day, that's it.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, I have two questions. One is to order, if you're granted a permit, if someone comes in and can they order a drink without ordering food?
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to have a actual sit-down type bar where people can go and sit and